I haven't kept up on the daily Bible videos. Apologize for that, but wanted to give a short video on the book of Isaiah and understanding prophecy and understanding how to really read the Bible. So if you're reading the daily Bible with us, we're finishing up the book of Isaiah. And Isaiah, especially the first half of Isaiah, what I love about the book of Isaiah is that there are 66 chapters in Isaiah. Very similar to the 66 books of the Bible. There's almost an Old Testament Isaiah and a New Testament Isaiah. The first 39 chapters are kind of like the Old Testament Isaiah. The people are waiting for Assyria to take over the nation of Israel, and they're waiting for the Babylonians to come in and take them off into exile. There's all these prophecies about that. And then there's almost a New Testament Isaiah, chapter 40 to chapter 66, like a almost like a New Testament kind of language, talking a lot more about the Messiah, about the suffering servant, about his second coming and the resurrection. So in a way, the book of Isaiah is a Bible inside of the Bible. It's just amazing how that all kind of worked out together. I'm reading a fantastic book. It's called How Not to Read the Bible by Dan Kimball. And he says in there something I think that's very important. He says, the Bible was not written to us, but it was written for us, which means the Bible was originally written for these ancient people. So in Isaiah's case, it was written for people who lived 700 years before Jesus. And what they really wanted from God was deliverance from their enemies, deliverance from Assyria, deliverance from Babylon. They wanted to be united with God again. They wanted to be back in the temple again. And so all of the pictures that the prophets are using about deliverance from those enemies. And yet those same ideas that were written to them were also written for us and for the New Testament Christians, because those pictures of deliverance gave us language for the deliverance that we have in the Messiah. And so the reason I want to talk about that was we need to really see the original context when we're reading like the book of Isaiah. We need to try to get inside the head and the mind and the perspective of those ancient people. So try to look at the world. What would it look like if you were in Babylon and you were in a foreign country and you were an exiled people enslaved by people of a foreign tongue? What would that feel like? And what would you desire? You desire to be set free and return back to your homeland. And that's what the prophets were talking to them about in that time. So it's written for them and to them, but it's also written for us. And once we understand that original context and what that would feel like, then we can apply it to ourselves and then think, well, what do I need to be delivered from? What are the enemies that I'm fighting? Well, I have spiritual enemies. There's other kinds of enemies in my life, ultimately the enemy of the devil. And I want a renewed world. I want to be back home, not necessarily back home in the temple like those ancient people. I want to be back home in the presence of God. And so that's my encouragement to you. Whenever you're reading the Bible, try as best as you can, using the tools that you can, to get into the minds of the original authors. And then once you understand what they were experiencing, then you can make that leap to your own life. So hopefully that helps. Keep reading the Bible and don't give up. Let me know if you have any questions on the book of Isaiah.